Hi, I'm Pete Hambrook. Welcome to Behind the Couch Studio. This is where it all happens. And I'm going to show you today the MG510, Casio MG510 MIDI guitar. This is an icon of the 80s. I think this is about 87, early 90s, this one. I think they started making them in 87. And I do believe, I was told, that the guitars were made by Ibanez under license. So for all intents and purposes, it's a regular guitar. So you've got a humbucker, 2 single coils, trem, 5-way position switch, coil tap, volume and tone. The guitar itself actually plays very well. Pretty stable, stays in tune. The only difference being that it's got a MIDI pickup slotted between the humbucker and the tremolo here, and this little section down here, which basically is a MIDI volume, a 3-way toggle for guitar, MIDI and MIDI, octave switch, so down, normal and up, and then normal, chromatic and program change on the last 3-way toggle. Powered by a PP9 battery. You can power it by a power supply, but last time I did that way back in the 90s, it managed to catch fire, so I haven't done it since. I just use batteries now, it's the safest way. Well, I think the best thing to do is, let's hear what it can do. I've set up a little backing track behind me here. Nothing too interesting, but I'll give you a taste of it. Plum notes. There we are. Stop that up. So that's basically a MIDI'd into the Pro Logic behind me with a simple backing track and a baritone sax plug-in. So it does it quite well. Tracking's pretty good. The only problem with these guitars and most MIDI guitars is that there's always a delay between the MIDI signal, about 25-30 milliseconds, and the guitar. So if you're recording something, for instance, guitar and sax together, the sax is going to be 25 milliseconds behind. Now once you know that, you can adapt your playing to suit. But if you're recording, it's another matter. Onto modern recording equipment, digital equipment, in a DAW, obviously you can shift it and requantize it to suit. So I do use this a little bit on recording, not a lot, but it's growing on me. It seems to be better with modern plugins than keyboards for some reason. I think it's certainly more responsive with that. So on its own, and then you can bring guitar in. See a little note at the end? Tracked off. That's what they do. So you've got to be very precise with your playing. Any straight harmonics, and this thing's going to want to follow it and give you a nasty note where you don't want it. The other thing it's very good at, which I'll set up, is strings. Just let that plug-in load up a moment. Hopefully it'll work. There we go. So very nice for doing washes of strings behind the guitar. So live, this guitar was first met me with Gwyn in the band Wildflower. He bought this along. At the time we couldn't find a keyboard player, so he found this MIDI guitar and we plugged it up to a Roland Juno keyboard and had strings going behind and just filled the sound out. Two guitars and the strings going. I've used it live since that, with the catch, for various things, a couple of songs in that, and then it's sort of been retired until recently, really, where I got it out and set it up. And I must say, it actually seems better than it was. And I don't say, like I said, I don't know if it's because of the plugins are better or what, but it does seem more responsive, and I have tweaked it quite a bit of in there. In the back here, there's a lot of presets and things that you can twiddle with, which I've done. So there we are, the MG510 Casio MIDI guitar. You can find these on eBay still. They're now going between £700 and £1,000. Like I said, I've never had any experience of the MIDI pickups. I know there's pickups called the Shadow, and I think Fishman make a MIDI retrofit which you can put onto different guitars. Never had any experience with those. If you have, please comment. I'd like to hear what they're like, because I wouldn't mind retrofitting one to my other guitars. So if you have had any experience, please communicate. Okay, that's it. Over and out from Behind the Couch Studios.